Alright, and we are live. I forgot to hit the record button. There we go. Okay, so today I'm going to be trying to finish up the rest of the map that I was working on a little bit yesterday. So I'm just going to get straight into creative mode, and we're going to get to work. Now, a couple of things have changed since last stream. So, it turns out, for a while, I was trying an experimental camera setup for a while, and I was trying to get it working as best as I could. I basically just bought a cheap capture card so I could use it with my camera, my actual video camera. The problem with that was, it was constantly desyncing. If you look at some of the past streams that I've done more recently, you can really notice all the desyncing issues. You can't tell now that I've changed. I'm going to have to use a different camera, but because right now I'm using my Elgato card since I usually use for games since I'm on PC right now. But for console streams, I'm probably just going to go back to the other camera, which was the Droid Cam in my phone. The quality is not as good, but I am planning to get something proper. I'm going to try to get an actual. I'm going to try to actually get an Elgato Cam Link soon when I can. But for now, I'm just going to go back to the way I used to do it, because that seemed to be more effective. But enough about that for now. Let me get started. So first things first, I got to get my notepad notes, or plus notes. I got to look at my notes here, because I have everything I need written down. I'm also going to need something else over on my desktop. Where is it at? I got to organize my stuff better. It's getting hard to find stuff. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, dokies. Is that right? I think is that old? Maybe old. I think that's old. That's old. Alright, that was an old one. Why do I have an old reference thing on here? Why did I do that? No matter. Show grid. There we go. Okie dokie. Let me actually make an audio tweak, so in case I have to go back and forth, it won't interrupt the audio. All sounds, there we go. Okay, so last time what I did a little bit is I actually got this little spawn point actually working. And I got it working successfully at that. Let me just show off what I did last time. So for now, I have a button that simulates there being more than 3 people. And that switches around the teleporters. I don't have the rest of this set up, so this is not working yet. It doesn't work for more than one person, which obviously doesn't really make much sense, but you'll see why later. Okay, I also wanted to test to make sure there wasn't any issues there. So as you can see, that spawn point, this is how all the players would spawn. Basically, there'd be a little structure up there, and you would just glide down. I need to configure that so I don't get that victory screen every time. That's going to get really, really annoying after like the 5th time I happen to test that. So let me go in real quick. I'm going to go set this to just 0, and I'll set it to 0 as well. I'm just going to go into settings. Time is fine. I'm just going to make myself invincible so I can just test stuff very quickly, and I'm also going to allow player flight temporarily, and I'll back that up real quick. Alright, so my next thing I have to do is I have to start getting the rest of the spawns set up, because I only have one at the moment working. So I gotta get to work on adding a second one. Oh. Well, thank you, Dulce MacG. I hope I said that right. Thank you for the follow, my man. I appreciate it. Or woman. I gotta stop assuming that. But anyway, okay, so this is what I've got going on down here so far. So, I basically have to build 15 more of these. Thank you, Miu Kiwi, or Miu Kiwi, for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. That brings our followers up to 61. We're getting up there pretty good, aren't we? Whoopsies. Okay, so in order to get this working, I have to build 15 more of these across the map. Now, I already have a file I already pre-calculated all these locations, but just to make sure I got this first one right, and before I make a ton of other ones, I'm going to check to make sure I got the spacing correct on the map. Now, the map is about, I believe it's about 109 by 109 squares long, as I already checked it before. Just double check my maths here. There should be 54 squares in between here, going in either direction. So let me just check. Oopsies. So let me just make sure before I make more. Let me, uh-oh. Just realized my, oh, there's the creative mode UI. I don't know where that went off to. Let me just real quick, calculate this. Now, this is going to take a while, so there's a little trick I like to use to speed myself up when I'm counting. So what I like to do is I like to find, where is it at? A movement modulator. What I like to do is I like to place it down and then modify it to go, I don't like to set it to super fast. It's a little too fast for me. But I set that to infinite, and I just set the speed to very fast. That's about as fast as my brain can handle. And this counts as 1. You'll see why I did that in a second. So this should be, according to my notes, about 54 squares, grid squares long. So let me just double check. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 25, 26, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 52, 53, 54. And that is exactly 54 squares. That is very, very good. That's very good. I can go ahead and get rid of these now. I know. So I just wanted to make sure before I built a whole bunch of other ones like this, I wanted to make sure that the grid spacing was just right. You'll see why in a little bit. But now I have to get to work. Let's make sure I have this first one working the way I like it. It seems like it's set up pretty good. Ignore that modulator for a second. Now what I have to do is start getting ready to build the next one. I'm going to go clockwise across the map. So I'm going to do this by about, according to my measurements, it's about 19 squares to the, what direction is that? East? West? I don't remember. I'm just going to go, it should be about 15 in this direction. Let me just double check my math. I don't want to screw this up. No, glad I checked. That is 19, not 15. So all I have to do, I'm going to get my builds back out, and I'm going to go this way. What's the map about? It's a special 2-in-1 map. So let me give you a little demonstration real quick of what happens. So this map is a 2-in-1 map. So let me explain. So it is both a 1v1 map, and it is also a free-for-all map. The free-for-all part I'm just implementing now. So over on this wall, there are a bunch of different presets over here for all the different shotguns, and they give you a bunch of different weapons. And they also give you a submachine, a couple ARs, and a sniper. But what you use is up to the two individuals playing the map. But if you're doing a free-for-all, there's also a bunch of chests out back here, so you can randomize it. So that if you want more of a randomized experience, you can do that too. And there's also a green pump here in case you get robbed from the RNG. Ignoring that button for now. So what happens is when you go in the 1v1, if there are only 2 players, you'll automatically be teleported into this little box. And this is actually fully automatic. It's meant to emulate the original, like, 1v1, the more traditional 1v1 format, except that it's fully automatic. I don't have 2 players right now, but if I did, a little countdown would start, and then it would automatically begin. However, if the game or the map detects 3 or more players, it actually will change out those teleporters and get rid of, as you can see if you look in the middle, the 1v1 structure is gone. If there are 3 or more players, the map will automatically get rid of the 1v1 spawns and will switch everything to a free-for-all format. So, as you can see, if I go through the teleporter here, instead of landing in the middle, it takes me to a free-for-all spawn. It also doesn't grant me infinite resources, so you would start off like that, the build self-destructs, and you just glide in, kind of like a traditional Battle Royale style game. Also, your resources are not infinite in the free-for-all format. I might make that an option eventually, but for now, that's not the case. It also works both ways. It'll also destroy the free-for-all structures if you are doing 1v1s. You can see, if you look over in this direction, the build is gone. So the map is just meant to be a completely automated showcase, but there's still a lot I have to work on. I still need to add some items here, not just presets, but just other... I want to add every item that's available in the game right now. And I still need to add 15 additional player spawns, so that it supports up to 16 players. This little wall would basically allow you to SD right away. That's just because I don't have... At the time, it was only a 1v1 map, and I didn't have it finished yet. But I still wanted to do 1v1s, so that's why the self-destruct wall is here. But I don't think there's going to be much of a need for that going forward, because, well, I'm about to implement the rest of the spawns. Also, the spawns that are going to go around the map, no matter which portal you go through, will be completely random. So you never actually know where you're going to spawn. Not that it matters too much. But it's just kind of meant to create that sort of balanced factor, I suppose. It's just meant to be something that's fully automatic you can jump into quickly. That's kind of the idea of the map. It's meant to showcase the automatic functions of the map. And there's actually a lot... If you look under the hood, there is actually a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of different sequencer chains and things happening. And you'll see a little bit more of that later. But there's a lot of stuff actually going on under the hood that make this thing work. In fact, so far I'm estimating I'm going to use around 75 channels. So there's quite a lot going on. But that's my little showcase of what I've gotten so far. So let me get back to adding back in the rest of the spawns, or adding them in. Okay, so I have to go 19 squares this way. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19. I feel like I counted wrong, so I'm going to double check my math. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18. That is 19. I was right. In my opinion, if you're in doubt, just double check your work, because you never know. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and stop right there. Which means this should, right here, is where the spawn would go. I've already pre-calculated all the locations, so everything should be working. Let me add these on real quick, just to make sure I have them. So, let me see what we got going on here. I could probably just get rid of this now. And I'm not going to get rid of this just yet. Oh, one more thing. I need a floating platform, which I have right here. I believe this is just a regular one. These are not indestructible. And I have my reasons for that. I'll put a floating platform right here, and I can just go ahead and wipe these completely. I don't need them anymore, at least not for now. And there they go, they'll take care of themselves. Let's go ahead and get to work. So, to replicate the little box, it's just a little box. It's not a whole lot going on underneath. It's a little tiny box. See? I can fix that. And that is pretty much it. Now, actually, no, there's one thing I actually have to do real quick. I have to actually get rid of that top piece. Because I actually need to copy this little structure. I just used some basic poles, I think, from one of the ring kits. What I need to actually do is select, to make this a little bit simpler, I'm going to select all, these are very hard to select, by the way. I'm going to lower my sensitivity a little bit, just to make this a little easier. This is very, very tricky. It's very small hitboxes, and I have to do this a lot. I'm actually just going to hold the button. That might be a little... Yeah, that's a lot easier, just holding it down. It might be selecting a little too much, but I can kind of fine-tune that later. Let me see. Is that every single rod? No, it missed one. I see, okay. Did it select... don't need that wall. I do need to select this floor piece, though. That's very important. That's going to make it align to the grid correctly. What I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to hit I'm going to just do number 8. I'm going to copy it to there. What I'm going to do with that said number 8, I'm going to put it right here. As you can see, by selecting a floor piece, it is stuck on a preset grid. It even taught me the teleporter. I may have to tweak this teleporter, but we'll get to that in a second. So the next thing I have to do now is get into our traps. I'm going to place down a launch pad. I feel like there's a hair in my mouth, and it's really bothering me. Can you join? If no, no problem. I'm working on a bit of a project right now. I'd like to sometime, though, but I can't right now. I'm sorry, buddy. Okay, so I'll place the launch pad down just like this. It should be working. Okay, let me take a look at what else we got here. Let's start with the teleporter, which I'll tweak first. I'll have to do some rotations and a couple of minor things, I believe. Let me see. Okay, so let me take a look at my channel notes real quick. This is where things get a little complicated. Okay, so 39, that don't have to worry about that channel. Let's see, disable from 57. I think we need to make that number 58 for this one. This is the second teleporter, so I have to make that. I believe I need to make that 58, but I'll have to check that. Nothing else for this needs to be changed, except for its rotation. It's kind of facing... I think it's actually facing this way, which is wrong. That's definitely wrong. You don't want it facing this way. It should be facing towards the center, and I'm just going to do this on a aligned grid. It should be facing... I don't know if it needs to face that way, necessarily. It should be facing more... Yeah, that looks about right to me. That looks about right. Now what I think I'll do is... Let's take a look at our barrier. We need to place a barrier back here. And I also need to place a... what was this called? A mutator zone underneath. You'll see why in a second. So I'm going to start with the mutator zone, and then I will make that, I think I remember these settings. I want building and fire to be set to no, and the rest don't matter, but the height needs to be 3. There's a reason for that. That prevents people from destroying the builds, and accidentally or otherwise. You want it to be enabled at start. This does affect everything. It doesn't really matter as much. I don't know about the channels. I have to check the channels. I do not believe I used any channels for the mutator zones. No, I did not. Okay. That's why I checked, but I was right. There were none of that was being used. Place the floor here. And let me go ahead and get a barrier. Now, this does have a little bit more going on. Let's go make that... I'm going to make that just as preference. Blue force field. And then I'm going to set this to... That doesn't matter. That doesn't really matter either. But this should be a height of 0.5 and a width of 3. Should look like this. That looks good. Now all I have to do is, I think the channels are specific, though. There are channels for this. I remember that. Yeah, disable when receiving from 17. That's the universal disable channel. So we need to disable that when receiving from channel 17. And that's it. Let me get some water real quick. Yep, I think that is good. So that should theoretically be working now. There we go. Now all we have to do is just, I think, get the next teleporter going, and a couple other adjustments under the hood made. Let's start with the teleporter over here. So I have one back here. It is invisible. That is a wall. I have an idea. To make this a little bit simpler, I'm going to delete this wall, and then what I'm going to do is copy this wall and this teleporter. You can't see that it copied, but it did. You can see right there, it's going to copy that said teleporter exactly where I want it without having to risk it being misaligned on the grid. Now, this doesn't need to be changed, but this does need to have this channel changed, as I believe that is actually not the right channel. Yes. I want to make that 42, respectively. That should definitely be a thing. I may have to do a couple of buttons to emulate player spawns. And then over here, what this system does is this is checking for, in the free-for-all mode, this is checking if, this checks to make sure that all the players are ready. So I'm going to actually move this. This is the trigger that actually starts everything up. So we don't want to, I want to make sure that's a little bit further away for now. I'm going to copy this one, this trigger right here. I might have to make it grid 16. Yes, and I'm going to make this, set this to 40 disable when receiving from 42, and when triggered, transits on, it's supposed to be 42. Let me double check this. I think I did something incorrect. Oh, yes, no, that actually, nope, I didn't want to change that. Let's set that back to 40. Yes, we do not want that changed. That is very important. That essentially what this happens is if it sends a signal to 40, it tells this right here, the sequencer, to restart. It prevents it from moving to the final piece here until it's absolutely necessary. It's very, very important. Otherwise, the system will basically just break. Now, unfortunately, I need to make a button, because I don't have 16 players to help test this with, so what I'm going to do instead is make a new button. And I'm going to, just for reference, put it right in front of this section, and what I'm going to do is, when interacted on, I'm going to make this, set this to channel 41. That tells the game that that player has spawned. That's going to help at least test out what's happening. So let's go ahead and give that a try. First, I have to activate free-for-all mode. I don't have 3 or more players to test that with officially, so I'll just do it automatic. I'll emulate it using a button. And then that marks as if player 1 is ready. So you can see those are no longer there, and I'm just going to go into this one. Give it a second. As you can see, I actually spawned up here and not here because it's completely random. As you can see, it took a little bit because I had it pretty far back, but it did actually start. And you can see that both of these... Oh yeah, that's right. I have to add one more detail to the other one, which I forgot. Totally forgot about. This is why you also want to test things before calling it finished. Because sometimes you might run into an issue that you have to fix. For instance, like this. I'm going to bring this over. Move this up to 4. Right, I would say here. I guess it's fine. I don't think this matters. Placement doesn't matter. I don't think too much. I think I used a different grid snapping for this canister here. Yeah, I did. I used like 8, not like 4. I'll just keep it consistent. This doesn't really matter what it is. It's just supposed to destroy the structure when it's done. Okay. So let me. Oh, I gotta hit that button first. That simulates the game detecting 3 or more players. And then I'm gonna hit this, and let's give that a test run. Let's see which one I get this time. I actually got this northmost one again. I need to move that one trigger a little closer, I think. It is taking a little bit to test this. Those should both auto-destroy, as you can see. That rift obviously did not disable. We can ignore that, because I know that does work. It's just that a player actually didn't end up on it, so I need to make sure this is actually random, because if it's not randomized, this could become more of a problem. I want that to be actually randomized. It is randomized. As you can see, I'm on this one this time. That's the northmost one over here. Here we go. And that works. we're back up now. That was weird. Okay, so, my computer decided to have a little crash on me. Decided to just go out in the middle of the stream. I have absolutely no idea why it happened. I'm guessing maybe the fan temps, or maybe the temps got too high. To be honest, I have no idea. I have absolutely zero idea what happened. But we're back up now. Alright, let me get back into creative mode here. I honestly have no idea why that happened, but we're just gonna move along and go with it. And get everything opened back up. Just check something real quick, make sure. I don't want it crashing again, so I'm just gonna double check a couple of things. That seems okay enough. Yeah, I have absolutely zero idea what happened. We're just gonna end it. Okay. Let's get back to what we were doing before the computer crash. May have to bump up the fans a little bit, but it's getting a little warm. Okay, let's get back to it here. Okay, where did we leave off last time? I think everything was working from the last time I checked. So, now, the next step is to add another spawn, but when I get to under the hood stuff, I'm gonna have to do a couple additional things. One or two maybe extra things to make sure that the game player check system doesn't break. For now, I've got 2 spawn points, and that's a pretty good start. So we'll just start there. Alright, so I'm going to add the next spawn point, which is number 3. This time it's going to be faced a little bit differently. Check something here. This is going to be facing towards the west this time. Okay, so it's supposed to be 17 squares across. From this one, that's supposed to be going towards the east. So that would be, I believe that is this way. If not, I have a problem. Okay, so that's supposed to be going east. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That is 17 across. Let me just check my work. That's right. And now I gotta go down by about 11. Gonna turn it up to 11. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 11. And the spawn would go right here. Oh, man. I forgot. All my stuff got reset because of the crash. Dang it. It's kind of annoying. That's okay. I'll work with it. I'll just have to work around that. Just select all this again. The computer just had to do a little crash on me, didn't it? I think that's all that I need. I'm going to put that on number 8. Put that here. I'll put that over here. I'll actually block this off now. Also, you know, I'm going to copy that barrel along the explosive device. I'll select the floating platform. Anything else I have to do? I don't think so. Just need to get a launch pad, mutator zone, and a barrier. Yes, we had a little bit of a computer crash before. That is why I am back on now, and that's why we went down for a little bit. I don't really know what caused it, but I'm just going to go with it. Okay, so let me place this right here. And then I'm going to place... What was I supposed to place? Yes. Doesn't really matter how I place it exactly. Oh, wait a minute. Am I doing this in the right direction? Oh, wait, that part doesn't matter yet. Goes right... Oopsies. That's the right click. There we go, and that's good. Teleporter drift should be facing, though, towards... It's hard to see where it's facing here. That should be facing towards the direction of spawn. I'd say it's right about here. Yes. Now, this is on the eastern side. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta get rid of these now. I already did the maths. There we go, and adios. Okay, so that's this is the eastern side over here, so I need to make sure that the stuff this time is faced, just for symmetry purposes, is going to be facing this way this time. I'm going to just build a couple of walls underneath. Whoops. I actually want to keep that open for a second anyway. I don't think this actually matters too much where I place the mutator zone. I'll start by placing the launch pad, then I'm going to place another mutator zone. That doesn't really matter the orientation, but I got to turn the building off. And a zone height of 3, and I think that's all that really matters. The reason I'm using the mutator zone is so people can't swing their pickaxes or use items or weapons inside of the box. That could break things and cause unfair advantages. Or they could accidentally SD, which is also bad. I'm going to place an explosive device inside. I think it's C cool. It's right here. That's going to make sure it destroys itself. And then what I'm going to do is, let me see. I think I need to place a barrier right behind here. I'm going to do the similar stuff to what I did before. I'm going to make that a nice blue force field. Those don't matter. Barrier width should be 3, and the barrier height should be 0.5. I think this should be disabled. Which channel was that? Look at my notes. I think it was, let's see. I don't actually remember the channel. I'm just gonna check my other one here. Okay, it was 17. Okay, that's easy to forget. There are a lot of channels I have to manage now, so it does get easy to get these mixed up after a while. And that should be about right. The teleporter should already, I believe, should already be configured. Except this does need to be, I believe, set to 58 instead. Let me double check my math and my channels. Oh no, I need to be 59, not 58. Because the last one was using 58. Go. Okay, now let's see here. Yep, that looks about right. Now what I have to do is go down. Now I must do something else. Now I have to add an additional teleporter, so I'll just... Actually, I'm going to have to get rid of this right here. I no longer have need of it. I need to get rid of it so it doesn't break anything. I'm going to copy this wall. And that teleporter here. Over here. And I believe I should copy that. Yes. Let me see. I think that's supposed to be upped by another channel here, and this doesn't really matter. Check my notes. Yes. Okay. Now, a couple of different things here have to happen, since this is a third player. Now, the first two spawns are set as the first priority, so players will always spawn in these two spots here every time. But that's not necessarily the case of all of these. So what we have to do is do a couple of things to get that working. So I'll make another button to simulate spawn of player 2. And I'll do another one for player 3 just so I can test all these out. These are a lot of things happening here. What I have to actually do this time is place another barrier, and there's a reason for this. I'm going to make that red this time. It doesn't really matter what it is. And what I need to do, it should be about just a single box. It should look something like this. Let me check the aesthetics of that, see if I need to do anything to fix that. Well, there is a little bit of stuff going on at the bottom. I think I'll fix that. It's just an OCD issue, or detail, should I say? An OCD detail I don't like. So I'll just place one underneath, like so. I'll just give it the height of 2 instead of 1. So it looks like it goes all the way through, including under the floor, like this. It's pretty good. The reason I'm placing a barrier here is to make sure that players don't go through, that don't actually go through these unless there's a set amount of players. Otherwise, it will break the system. So if it receives from channel 3, which is hooked up to the third spawn point here, that tells the game, okay, players should make sure they have to go through one of these. So if the player does not spawn on this, they can't go through. Now, I'll have to also simulate that as well, for the sake of testing, of course. I use buttons to simulate different scenarios because it's easier to work with buttons. The reason for this is because I don't have 16 people to help me test, so by simulating and emulating player spawn, I can actually simulate what an actual game would be like. This is why I'm using a lot of buttons. Alright, so I'll activate the free-for-all mode here. You can see the teleporters are all there, but as you can see, this is blocked off because player 3 has never spawned. But let's pretend player 3 did spawn here. This barrier goes down and the teleporter opens up. This prevents the system from accidentally breaking for some reason. That looks good. Now all I have to do is add an additional one. But there's... Actually, before I do that, let me check something real quick. I need to make sure that this is working as intended. Now, whoops, I went too far above the map, and I wasn't able to get back through. I can't phase through the map when I'm actually in the real game mode, so I have to be careful. You can actually see what's happening. As you can see in the 1v1 format, this actually is happening right here. This is what's preventing the game from starting too early. These are basically just making sure that all the players are ready. And the same thing happens here as well, but on a grander scale. Instead of having 2 players, it's checking for all 16. These, by the way, will be enabled always by default. Just because the first 2 spawns are always guaranteed. There will always be players there. However, in this case, that's not going to be the case for player 3 through 16. So disable when receiving 43, and trigger it to transmit on channel 40. No, channel 40 should be the same. Now, the difference though, this needs to actually be disabled. Well, it doesn't need to be disabled at the start of the game. Because, in case a player doesn't spawn, I don't want that to happen. Now, here's the only thing about that. How do I didn't actually think about how this was going to work. Yeah, because that's a player ready signal. So what I need to do, I think, is create an additional system. I may have to create an additional system for this. I really don't want to use more channels. I might have to, though. I may have to use more channels to make this work. Let me see if I can do it without using any more. That's disabled when receiving from 43. I may have to change that. Oh wait, no I don't. Just make sure it's enabled when receiving from channel 3. That's it. That was a very simple solution. Let me show you what that's going to do. So, let's pretend for a moment that player 3 is not in the game. Let's say maybe one of the other spawn points was used instead of spawn point number 3. What this does is it prevents the game's system from essentially... I don't know why this is not supposed to be running. I have to fix that. But, as you can see here, player 3 will not go through the check. This prevents this check from accidentally getting stuck. Because if a player can't go through the teleporter, then the system will just hang forever and the game will never start, which is very, very bad. So, instead, to get around this, but if a player did spawn there, if you go back now, you can see that enabled itself, so it will work and will stop this from working. It's very, very important for the system as it prevents the system from itself from breaking. Now, let me simulate the other couple of spawns real quick. Let's pretend player 1 and 2 did spawn, and let's go into spawn 3. I picked this one this time. It will eventually start. Yep, there's the countdown. I'm not going to go through that cycle this time. Okay. Now, I did find one potential issue, I think. Which is that this did not get disabled. And just for performance, I don't want that constantly running. So that was supposed to stop, and it did not. Let me check to see what's going on here. Stop when receiving... Yeah, it's supposed to be stopped. It's definitely supposed to be stopped. I don't know why it didn't stop. Very peculiar. That is very, very peculiar. That was supposed to stop, but it did not. That's very, very strange. Strange behavior. I just don't want that running for the sake of performance so that things don't lag too much. That's supposed to be when interactive do 38. Let's see. What are my channel setups here? This is where things get very hard to manage. Does 38 not actually do anything? That was definitely supposed to be stopping. I don't know if it's a bug. I honestly felt that might have been a bug. Let me change channel 38 instead. Let me see if that fixes the issue. Maybe it's just the way I have it set. It might be the way I have it set up, to be honest. I think that's probably what it is. Oh, well, that seemed to work, though. Let me just make sure that wasn't a fluke. I just don't want that sequencer running the entire game. I feel like that might bog things down to an unnecessary level. Let me double check. I didn't hit the button. I have to do that. This button in the middle right here, this just simulates the game actually starting. Okay, that seemed to work, though. We'll stick with it. Okay, so you can see we have all three of these right here. that seems to be working as expected, which is very, very good. I think I can move on now. To spawn point number 4. So let's move on. I already have all the buttons set up here. And let me get started with the next spawn point. So it's a very similar process to the ones... It's basically just a repetitive sort of process with every single one. I just have to repeat this about 13 more times, I believe. Not too horrible. This will be permanent, though. This will work permanently once it's been established. So it does work pretty well once it is established and set up. Okay, let's go next to the next one here, and I'll use the spawn point as a basis for calculations. Let's see. So I have to go, according to this, I have to go 11 across. 11 across. And that is 11 towards the east. So I'm going to go towards the east here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that is 11. Okay, once we're at 11, I should go down by 17, including this one. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That is 17. And we stop right here. And this is where the spawn point should go. Fortunately, I have everything I need, so we can just quickly... up first, I need to make the flying platform. That's very important, as otherwise the whole thing will just collapse as soon as I get rid of these. Also, before I go any further, allow me to make a backup first. Just in case. You never know what can go wrong. Also, let me make sure, actually, before I move on, let me close this up. This is not supposed to be open. Now, let me see. The next step is to get everything in place. I'm going to place the canister as well, right where it's supposed to go. I think we're supposed to go right about here. Yes. We've got to place the explosive device there. The teleporter slash stack here. I have to get a couple of things from this menu. Barrier, mutator, and launchpad. I'm going to go to the barrier. Or mutator zone, excuse me. And no, and that should be a height of 3, and I think that's it. Now, previously, on the last barrier, I think the barrier just uses the same channels. It's just 17 over and over. It's just 17 over and over again, so we don't have to do much. This should be facing towards this way, towards the... should be facing towards the eastern side of the map here. And let me begin by placing another object. I'll place a barrier right here. That should be disabled when receiving from 17, and that's... oh yeah, and one more thing. I also need to make sure I set that to blue force field, and with a 3 and a height of 5. And that should be pretty good. Now, the teleporter, however, is not in the correct orientation, so we need to fix that. This should be facing towards spawn, so should... just make sure that line... it's very hard to tell. They don't make it easy to tell where the line is. There we go. Okay, so it's facing this way. That's actually not correct. I don't know if there's much we can do about this one. Oops. I feel like this actually might have gotten lower, too. Let me check that other teleporter real quick. I think I messed something up here. Yeah. I think it moved down a little bit. It wasn't supposed to. It's hard to tell where this is facing. It's facing right here. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. That's good enough for me. I don't believe I need to configure anything except for the channels. This should be equaling... Let me check the last one. It's going to be easier than looking at my complicated notes. Okay, so that's supposed to be 60. That just tells the game... This just tells the game not to enable that teleporter anymore. That basically prevents this. What those channels do is just prevents the teleporter from. It just prevents people from spawning at the same one and breaking the game. You know, I guess in theory I could have created just one spawn point for everyone to spawn at, but that would have been more difficult, I think. So I'm happy the way it is. Alright, next, let me go down to, back to under the hood again. And I just need to do a similar process to what I did before. Just move this over a little bit. Not that much. I think it's actually moving more. Did I use 16 for this before? Yes, I did. Okay. Now all I have to do is make sure that this is set to disable when receiving from 44 and 4, respectively. So instead of having to do that, which is very important. Oh, you didn't keep my changes. There we go. I must have hit escape by accident. Okay, gotta do something similar down here to what I did previously. I just have to create a barrier. I'm going to give it the red force field. Doesn't matter. Let's make the height 2. And disable the receiving channel 1 instead of 3. Next step, I just have to delete this wall. Select this and this. Copy. And then change this to channel 44. And that should be working. And just to help test this out, I'm going to go over here, place a button. Leave that channel 4. And that should be good. And also, I'm going to do something similar over here. I'm going to simulate a spawn here as well, just to make this a little bit more simple. Positions don't really matter all the way, just as long as it works. As these buttons are all going to go away once the final map is done. Alright, let's see what we got. So, okay, so these do seem to be working. Let me go check to make sure these are working properly over here. Okay, they are. Now, look, I forgot to activate the free-for-all stuff, but that's okay. I can fix that. Boop, that activates the free-for-all setup, and then... Also, I just realized something. Are those teleporters visible at the start of the game? They're not supposed to be. They are. No, okay. They're not. That's good. Alright, so that simulates player 3 and player 4 spawns. Good. Good. Alright, so those are enabled now. This all happens, by the way, in a real game, this would happen all at the start. So this would all be pre-calculated at the very beginning of the game. I'm going to go ahead and spawn 1, 2, 3. I don't know if 1 actually works. Should be, as you can see, it keeps going and looping over here. Now, what's interesting is it did not work over here at player 3. That's odd. That's why I test stuff. Sometimes stuff will break. That was supposed to simulate spawn point number 3. That did not change. That did not change anything. So I must have set something up incorrectly. These are all 4-player spawns. Well, that was not supposed to happen. Okay. Okay, huh? Okay, that was not supposed to happen. That's 43. Let me just check these out. That was not supposed to happen. Yeah, that was definitely not supposed to happen that way. That was supposed to... I must have set something up incorrectly. I see what I did wrong here. Okay. I accidentally modified the wrong one. I mistook this one for this one. Very, very simple mistake. Very easy to fix, though. That's one. Simulate both of these spawn points here. So both players are spawned in. Let me check one. That's 3, 2, and 1. They should all report. Oh no! No! I went through the top of the map. Not quite what I wanted to do, but we'll try again. That's okay. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Okay. That is enabling itself right at the start. I'm going to have to fix that, because that is not supposed to keep going. At the very least, though, these are working. I have an idea for this one. I actually have an idea. That's the Sables we're receiving from 39, right? Not much I can really do. I think what I could do, though, is just slightly space these out. No. Just a little bit more from the edge here. Just a little bit more time. I could also maybe slow that one down. What I don't want happening is I don't want it running at the start of the game. Maybe it's just a visual glitch. It might just be, it might just be a visual bug. Yeah, it's a visual glitch. Okay, it's just a visual glitch. So I'm going to ignore that then. I don't know what's going on in creative. That's actually a creative bug. I think it was actually deactivated. It just visually was glitching out. Okay. I think this is working. I believe this is actually working. Let me just test it one more time. I was dealing with that issue, but it turns out it's a non-issue. It actually is just a visual bug from creative mode. I don't think it's actually running. You can see it's stuck right here. Okay, let's test that out real quick. Give it a second, it will activate. I actually got this one this time. That's neat. Did that? What the heck was that? That was really weird. That was really, really weird. I think the countdown lagged a little bit there. I think it's not looking too bad, though. Kind of weird. Let me check the orientation of how it's spawning too. That looks about right, actually. Mm-hmm. There we go. I think it was just creative lag. And that is working pretty good. I will have to add... You know what I gotta do here? I gotta add a barrier here so people don't accidentally go back to Creative Hub. I don't want people accidentally getting warped out of here in the middle of a game. So I think what I can do, I've done this before, with this start portal, I just make a barrier. All I do, it doesn't really matter. I just have to make it invisible, only visible when close. You just only enable it during gameplay. This way you can't get close to the box. And while I'm at it, let me do a different sort of test. There we go. Started as expected. It's obviously in the real thing. That would start much faster. This is just for testing. But you can see right here, if I get close to this Creative Hub little portal, I can't get in because there's a barrier right here. I may have to make this panel indestructible, but it's not already. That's good. That's going to protect people from accidentally getting out of map too early. What? You know what? You know what I better do though? I better not allow that. I better make sure that doesn't block gunfire. That people, I could see people like camping behind this. All right, let's move on. Next, I'm going to move on to the next spawn point, which is spawn number 5 in the clockwise order. This actually should be fairly simple. Let me take a look at what we got going on. Okay. So this time, we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe that is, no, it's just 4 towards the east. Just 4 towards the east. Actually, that's 1. It's 2, 3, 4. Something doesn't feel right. Hold on, something feels funny. Something doesn't feel right here. Hold on, let me check something. Something doesn't feel right with this. So let me check to see if I messed something up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So that should be 7 away from the east. So let's see what's that. 1, 2. It's not letting me do anything. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, I messed up. Okay, so I messed something up here. That is actually supposed to be 7. That is supposed to be 7 in that direction. But that is not spaced correctly. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to move this whole thing. That also means most of the stuff will not stick around when I move it. Like, most of this will probably get deleted, like the barrier. Probably have to be replaced. The launch pad, all that stuff's going to have to be placed back down again. Kind of unfortunate, but we can get around it. I'll just move what I can. Yeah, just as I thought, all the traps were snapped out of existence. So we'll just have to redo them. Why did I place a launch pad in here? No, 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 no. No, height 3. It also doesn't matter. And then barrier. That. I wish you could copy the barriers over to other stuff. That'd be so much easier to deal with. For stuff like this. That should work. Let's double check my work. Good. Okay. I think everything's good. The teleporter should not have been changed, so that should stay the same. It shouldn't be any different. Good. Good. Okay. So, moving on. What I'm going to do now is start working on spawn point number 5. It's for... let me get started on 5. Okay, so let me try this one more time now that I fixed that. So this should be only 4 to the east. That's 1 right here, 2, 3, and 4. That should be about right. That's actually right. There should be 3, 2, and yes, that is correct. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's correct. And let me try to make sure. I have to move down, including this spot, by 19. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, and that is 19 right here. Let me just double check and make sure that's the right number. It is. And right here should be the next spawn point. So I'll place a floating platform here. And that will do nicely. I am glad I checked that my work there, because that could have been disastrous otherwise. But just to be safe, I'll also check my work here. There should be about 3 pixels apart. 1, 2, 3. Correct. And Mundo. Alright. Oh wait, don't place the floor yet. I need to actually place this first. Boop. Let's change the teleporter. That should equal 61, I believe. And let me change the teleporter's orientation. Or should I say I should change the direction it's facing. Oh, was I using a different grid snap before? Fascinating. Okay, that's what I did before. So, okay, so I used a 16 grid snap before. Maybe not. No, I don't think that matters. I feel like these are moving all over the place, though. Let me check my... These need to be consistent, so I think I'm moving them around too much. Okay, I see how to do it now. They should be aligned with the center one here. If they're not, they're in the wrong spot. Maybe it might have just been me. Let's see what... Yeah, this one's definitely a little too high. It should be right here. No. Here. Yes, there we go. I'm going to place of course, the all important tiles here, here, here. Place a floor. Another floor. No. Kind of 3. And then the barrier is the same thing as before. 3.5. Disable from 17. Yep, that should be good. Yep, that should be good. Okay. And that should be working now. Now I just have to go add another spawn. Making this map is very tedious work. It just takes a lot... Oops. It takes a lot of time to get this done. There's a lot of little intricacies in this map that make this thing tick. Make it work. So, even a simple mistake could break a lot of stuff, which is why testing everything is very, very important. Because otherwise, things might not work the way you expect them to. Which is kind of bad. I need a barrier again. Go. Let's get my simulator buttons moved around and changed up. And like I said, these are all going to probably go away later on. Let's give that a test run. So free-for-all mode, and then we'll spawn in Boop. And I know these are already working. So player 5. Oh, I did not add a teleporter. That's okay. I'll still take a look at this anyway. That is disabled. And let's take a look at player 5 spawn now. Yep, there it goes away, and whoops. I'll have to check that again after. Now, I did make a little mistake. I was supposed to add... I'm going to actually just delete all the walls, the ones that don't have any teleporters yet. Now what I need to do is go over here. Oops, sliding a little too fast. Oop. Oops. Okay, that was not where that was supposed to go. There we go, that's better. That should work now. Okay. Free-for-all button. 1, 2, and let me check this one. Yes, it looks great. Here. Alright, let's disable all except 5 to make sure everything's working. So let's pretend all the players already went through those teleporters. I think that's just a visual glitch. You can see when I actually step on it, it changes the animation. I think it's just a visual glitch. But you can see here that is working as intended. Yep, it looks about right to me. Looks good. Okay, that seems pretty darn good to me. That is 5 of 16. Yes, I still unfortunately have more to go. But it's still pretty good. Okay, I'm actually going to take a quick restroom break. When I come back, I will try to work on this just a little bit more, so we'll be right back. Alright, and we are back. Okay. So where was I? Yes, so so far we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spawn points. Added. Now I just need to add number 6. You can see they're completely even. So let me begin by adding the next spawn. So let me go ahead and make sure I'm getting the math right here. So I need to go 18 below. That is towards the south. Oops. Okay, there we go. So, starting from the center here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That is 18. That is 18. So let me just make sure. Now I have to go 5 over, including from this point. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And stop right there. Now we place the flying platform. All the gizmos. I can go ahead and get rid of this. Before I do anything else, let me just double check. Real quick, make sure that's correct. So that should be about 7 squares away from the east in this direction. So that should be. Let's follow those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That should be 7, 8, 9. Oh, going the wrong way. Sorry. That is my bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it should stop right. It doesn't look right to me. 4, 5. That's not right. I must have miscounted at some point. Oh yeah, I can tell it's wrong. Look at that. I can tell right over there it's not lined up correctly. Alright, that's an easy fix though, fortunately, because I haven't really committed too much yet. What I gotta do is select everything. And just move it. Really? Really? Did you have to move it up 1? Really? Okay, well, it wasn't really supposed to move everything up by 1. There we go. I think that should be correct. Now let me just double check. That is correct. Okay, good. Good. Let me make sure that's even level. Okay, there we go. Make sure that's even level. Real quick. Looks about right. I got a little iffy there, so. This is actually the last one, I think. Let me just double check here. I think this is the last one. Wait a minute. Let me just check something real quick with the other ones here. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Let me see here. That looks alright to me. Actually, that reminds me, did I add the canister to the other spawn point? Oh, I'm glad I checked. I did not. Let me check the other one too. I'm glad I thought about that. I gotta make sure I remember to add that on each time, otherwise it will not work correctly. It'll cause some problems. And let's set that height of 3, and that's good. Now the barrier. Let's make that force field. Height of 0.5. Oops. And I disable that when I receive from channel. 17, and while I am at it, I'm just going to check to make sure that this has a channel. Yep, we're good. Whoa, hello, okay. Oh, and I almost forgot the most important thing, the launch pad. Gotta place one of those babies down. Okay. Now, I just have to do some behind-the-scenes stuff now. Let's go ahead and add another one of these. So that the channel, these channels here, that should be good. Yep, that looks about right to me. Now all I have to do is go over here, add a floor, a barrier, force field, height of 2, disable when receiving from channel 6. This is spawn point 6 after all, so it shouldn't be there when this channel 6 is activated. Next, I will select this and this, copy paste, change these channels to 46. That's it for that. Now I'm going to go over here, move this button right around here, and change that channel. I just have to move it up by one channel. That's all. Nothing too fancy, nothing too complicated. And that should be it. Let me check that out. Switch to free for all. Boop. 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 Let's go over here, and that is working as expected. Yep, that should be disabled as such. That prevents the system from getting stuck, and let's do this. And there we go. And yep, that's all working as expected. Let me just double check, make sure that it is actually working the way it's supposed to. So let me disable everything except for that spawn number 6. Now I will go through the portal. I may have to raise these up a little bit. Give it a second. Yep, there we go. And I am facing the wrong way, though, on that one. I forgot to set the orientation of the teleporter. I'm glad I randomly... Man, that was lucky. I'm glad I randomly teleported onto this one, because I completely would have overlooked that issue. It's more or less the center, so that's good. Yep, that's good. Okay. Okay, moving on. This is actually going quite well. Moving on to spawn number 7. Okay, so this all I have to do for this one is go 16 down, south, towards the south here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Stop right there. Now I need to go 12 in the other direction, including this one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Which means the flying platform should go here. Before I do before I do anything else, let's check some math real quick. Let's see here. That should be about, from the east, 18 away. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I feel like I'm getting my math wrong here, because I feel like I'm messing some stuff up here. I can actually kind of tell this is wrong. I may have to check the other ones too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's 20. That is not correct. It should only be 18. Why is it so far away? I must have miscounted. It's actually supposed to go right over here. Let me check the other axis as well, just to be safe. Is that east, actually? Oh, actually, I might have done that correctly. Oh! I messed up. Okay, I think I'm messing this up. Okay, I think I goofed. That was me that time. Okay, I forgot. East is this way, not that way. That's why it seemed a little off. I was going towards the south, wasn't I? Well, that's supposed to be 18 too, though. That's funky. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20. That's 20. Where's my flying platform? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's all 20. That's not correct, according to my calculations. Something is off. Something's really off. My counts here. This is not correct. It's supposed to be a little bit different. It's supposed to be 2 in every direction of this. Let me check that one more time. I wonder if I messed something up early on. That's 18. I need to move over one. In this direction. That's correct now. Okay, that's where it's supposed to be. I must have missed... I'm going to actually just go ahead and check the other ones, too. Because the deeper I get along here, and the worse this gets, the harder it's going to be to fix later. So I'm going to have to check that. 7. It's supposed to be 7 in this direction. So 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's correct. Now, the other direction is a little more staggering, but it's supposed to be about 35 away from the map. And if that's correct, shouldn't have any issues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me check that again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 5, 6. Ah, man. Really? One off? Man, that sucks. Well, that kind of sucks a little bit. That's literally a single pixel off from what it's supposed to be. That's why the counts have been wrong. I bet all these are wrong. Unfortunately, that means I have to set most of this up again, which is kind of sucked. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of stings a little bit. But I'm glad I caught this early on. That's why I double-checked. You didn't select something you weren't supposed to, were you? I think we're okay. That's okay, we'll just move it over by 1. Let me double check that. 10. 20. 30. Yes. Okay, that one is correct now, but I do have to reset everything. Man. Oh yeah, it's kind of annoying. I seriously wish you could copy these. That would just be so much easier than just having to replace them all over again. They really need to, like, fix that. Or at least add that in. That's especially important at times like these. When, like, I have to fix a bunch of these. I'm probably gonna have to fix all of these, by the way. Like, I have a feeling that wasn't the only one affected. Like, I bet a majority of these are probably not in the right positions. This one's easy. All I have to do is look at 3. So it should be 1, 2, and 3, yeah? Now, this is a little trickier. I'm basing it on the map and not on the other locations, because it could be off. But in this case, I will actually base it on that other one. It should be 19 from the other one. So I know I fixed the other one already. So 1, 2, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19. That is correct. Okay, so I think the other ones might be okay. The others might be okay. Let me take a look. Well, the other ones might be in the proper positions. That is 7. I believe that is supposed to be 7. From the other one, that is supposed to be 19 away. It's 19 right here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Aw, no. It's 1 off again. Let me double check it. Brother. I'm sure it's the right one, too. It should be 35 away from the map, right? Yeah, that's the one. Oh, it is literally just 1 off. It needs to go this direction, I think, by 1. Wait a minute, though. I'm so confused. I'm so confused, though. Wait a minute. Isn't this supposed to be a certain distance from this one? That's supposed to be 19 away from this one. Maybe I did it wrong. I might actually be right. Maybe I did the math in my head wrong. I don't know. Something felt really funky. I'm not going to base it on the other ones. I'm going to base it on, like, the map itself. It tends to get inaccurate otherwise. So, okay. So this is supposed to be... This one right here is supposed to be 35. Let me just double check my work. I counted wrong. That says 35, I think. No, that's actually correct. I think I must have miscounted. It's definitely 35 away from the map, so this is correct. I must have just miscounted. I'll take a miscount over actually messing that up. That should be exactly 18 away. That's 18. That is correct. Likewise, that should also be 18 the other direction as well. 18. Whoops. That, however, is definitely 18. Okay. I think the rest might be okay. I'm still going to check every one, because I want to make sure all these are actually where they're supposed to be. Because it's going to be a much, much more difficult process to fix this later than now. That's correct. That is 7. That is correct. Okay, so let's go over this direction. Shoot 35. 20. 30. That's correct. I think, honestly, all of these are correct. That should be 19 here from this one. That looks about right to me, to be honest with you. And I know this one's supposed to be 3 away. I'm just checking this because I'd rather not make... Yep, that's correct. These are all good now. I just don't want to make this mistake later on, because if these are inaccurate, the problem is I'm basing a lot of my math on a lot of the other ones. So if the other ones are wrong, this is gonna... And I get... When I don't fix it, it will actually cause more collateral damage. So what I don't want to do is have to come back later and try to deal with a bunch of problems. It's much easier to go now and double check everything, and it'll take less time now than in the future. And I'm glad I did, because there were actually a bunch of problems that needed fixing, so... Good. Okay. Back to what we were doing. Let me back that up. Now that I've fixed that problem, I can now move on. I'm a little bit behind, but that's on this map, but that's okay. I'm sure I'll finish it one of these days. No. Height of 3. That looks good. Let's add a floor. Yep, that looks good. There we go. That's about how it should be. The only thing that's missing is our launch pad. That's good to go. The only thing I have to change I do have to change the teleporter to 62, I believe, instead of 61. I don't know if I changed this one either. Ooh, I need to fix that. That's supposed to be 63. Okay. I did not change the other one either. That's why I double check everything a lot of times. It might not seem useful, but in actuality, if I make a simple mistake like that, well, the whole thing falls apart. So it's always a good idea to double check your work, otherwise you could end up running into more problems. Also, let me make sure I fix the orientation of this teleporter. Where's it facing? That's not right. That is, though, I believe. Yep, that's about right. Yep. Okay. Moving on to the next spawn point here. I actually got, how many of these done now? This is 7. Almost halfway there. There we go. Now let me go over here and do a little bit extra work. Add a barrier. We're going to add a barrier right here. Disable when receiving from channel 7. This is spawn 7 after all. Copy that over right here. I'm going to change these channels to 47. And now, that's 47 now. Let's go over here and get another one set up. Oh, I must have accidentally... No, I copied it. Okay. There we go. That's good. It's actually all the second... These are actually all the secondary ones. So theoretically, I think the map could actually work right away. At least in theory, this map is theoretically playable. It's not finished, but it is theoretically playable. It's not, however, where I really want the map to be, though. This is very, very unfinished in nature, so I don't really think it's ready for prime time yet. But it's pretty close. Yep, that is working as expected. Let me emulate a spawn right here. I will despawn the others. Let's pretend those other players are ready. Then there are actually other players. Let me just double check, make sure he's all self-destructed. Oh yeah, right. The other teleporters will still be visible, just because no one went through them. That's just the nature of it. That's not a big deal though. They're actually not even that noticeable anyway. That's good. Okay, everything's working. Alright, everything's working. Let's move on. Alright, so currently we're at this spawn point number 7. Now we have to move on to spawn point 8. And this is actually the halfway point. That's actually kind of exciting. I'm just double checking something. Okay, that should be, alright, this should be about 18 across. That is 18 towards the west. Starting from the center of this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, and stop. 10. Now it's 10 towards the south, so starting, including this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And right here is where the island of the floating platform will go. Now let me just calculate real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That should theoretically be in that direction. That might not be right, though. 7? Yes. Minor, yeah. Right, I'll figure it out. Yeah. My mom's had to check something. Mom was asking me something. Not a big deal. Okay, so it's 3, 4. Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. I just wanted to double check. I feel like something's not right, though. It needs to be moved down by 1 in this direction, which means I probably should check the other axis as well. Should be 35 in that direction towards the east. So let me take a look. No! Don't delete that. Oh my goodness! Do not delete that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Something's not right here. My math is constantly being wrong here. It seems odd. I'm going to double check something. I think I need to double check the map size here. I think I need to check the size of the map. I feel like something's not right. Whoa. No, that's definitely right. I think that's definitely right. Okay, so maybe it's just me. Okay, well, I'll start basing it on the actual map size instead. That may be more accurate. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Also, it looks about right. Yep. Okay. This actually needs to be facing... Let me see. Where does this need to go? It's actually facing towards the north. That's wrong. That should be good. Now I just have to add on a couple extras. Let me just check the previous teleporter. Oh, glad I checked. And that iffy feeling. An odd feeling that might have been the case. I'm gonna have to double check these at the end just to make sure that everything's set up correctly. I think this is ready though, in theory. Aside from its force field color, of course. I think that's gonna really do it for now. Spawn point number 8, so let's move... Oh, wait. Did I do the teleporter? I don't think I adjusted the teleporter yet. I'm a little bit ahead of myself. No worries. I can't tell where that's facing. Yeah, that looks about right. Let me make sure it's on the height level it's supposed to be. Yes, it is. I'm going to change that to 60... Is it 63 now? 64. Let me check. No, it's supposed to be 64. Okay. Now we can move on to spawn point number 8. And these are getting up there. Alright, now I'll go ahead and add another one over here. To add a barrier right here. Disable and receiving from 8. We'll make that a red force field. The rest doesn't matter too much. That looks good. Now, the teleporter system here. Copy that. Change these channels to 48 and 48. Change. Uh-oh. Did I overlap these? Yes, I did. I don't want that. And now 48. And over here, let me just go ahead and place another button. Alright, halfway there. Not too shabby. We're getting somewhere. I'm still going to individually test these. They should all be enabled except for the one. Yep, that is correct. I'm still individually testing these just to make sure everything's working the way it's intended to. Let's spawn someone here. And there we go. Open that up. And then let's get rid of all the others. Go ahead, and now I'm going to take a look. Yep, that is correct. Now all I have to do is go through this one. Facing the right direction as well. Yep. It'll take a second. Yep. In the final game, in the final version of the map, it probably won't take that long. I'll probably fix that. What time is it now? Okay, I might have time for maybe one more spawn point in the evening, and then when I come back, I might be able to finish it up. Let's see what the next one I have to do next. Okay, let's go from this one here. Let's go about, I think it's supposed to be 19 in this direction. towards the west. Something feels funny, though. That's 19. Yeah, sniper. Ain't something scoped. The reason I'm using a scope weapon. That's correct. It actually gets easier once these are established. It actually gets easier once these are already established, and then I can very quickly figure out what I'm supposed to do. So 4 down. 6, 1. Oh, no! That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Place a floating platform. And it should be 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay. You know, the other time before I must have miscounted. But that's what I did wrong. This is exactly where it's supposed to be. Why is it? Creative mode is being very strange today. Acting in ways it's not really supposed to act. Very peculiar. Let's get the next set of objects going. Launchpad here. Oh, hey, you know what? I forgot to place a launchpad here. I gotta start double checking some of this stuff, I think. I'm making some mistakes that are very avoidable. I'll double check that. Yep, that's good. Let me check that channel setup over here. Yep, that's good. 65 is the right number. Next, let me get the barrier placed down. Disable when receiving from channel 17. And then I'll place this mutator zone, and I will just make that no. And a height of 3. There we go. That's another spawn done, I believe. Let me just double check the channels here, just to be safe. I like to check the previous ones, just to make sure they have everything set up the way they're supposed to. That's spawn point number 9. Now I gotta go down here. I gotta add an additional one right here. Bump up those channels just a little bit. I'm actually gonna have to move this now. I can almost guarantee I'm gonna have to make this bigger. Like at least 1 square bigger. So let me do that now. Length of 5 instead. That probably should take care of that issue. Now, I already established this one right here. I think I already set the channels. I don't know what's going on. There we go. Let's take a trip over here. And place another barrier. Oops. Disable when receiving from channel 9. There we go. Now, I am going to copy. Actually, I'll copy the button this time, too. Actually, just to make things simple, I'll copy these buttons too, so it'll happen all at once. There we go, and that should be 49, and the other one over here should be channel 9. And there we have it. 9 of 16 are complete, which is really good. That is more than half, so that is very, very good. It does take a little bit of time to get this working, and to check everything, but it is a very, very important process. Yep, that's correct. That is how it's supposed to be. Now let's pretend the players have already spawned. Except for player 9. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's wrong. Something is not right. That was not supposed to be. Yeah. Oh. Didn't simulate the spawn, did I? No. That was my fault that time. That wasn't actually the system. That would have not happened in a real game, most likely. Gotta make sure I enable this one, and then disable the other ones. So that was me that time that made that error. It takes a longer time to check these in between, because once there are more spawn points I have to check, the longer it takes. I have to go through each individual one and click it, which is good. That means I can individually test all of them, which is very important. I actually got the southern spawn point this time. And make sure these all self-destruct as well. This is the last time I'm going to be working on the map for tonight, so it seems that everything is working the way it's supposed to, which is very, very good. Well, unfortunately, I don't have time at the moment to finish the rest of this map, but it has come a long way. I have 9 spawn points of the 16 finished, which means over half of the map is ready. So I think I'll take my leave for now, but thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again next time. Bye. That is a